Hey, what's up amigos? If you caught my dungeon guide video I put out, I told y'all I was working on some pre-raid best in slot lists for Wrath of the Lich King. So today I want to go over Fury Warrior's pre-raid best in slot. Now if you don't know, maybe you live under a rock, or maybe you live under a giant sword in the middle of Silithus. Then maybe you don't know that warriors get this awesome new talent called Titan's Grip. It's your final talent, and yep, you guessed it, no, I'm kidding. It's your Fury tree. I know Blizzard has this weird thing where they keep switching your talents between arms and Fury, but I promise you this will be your final talent inside the Fury talent tree. So, with that being said, this is of course your Titan's Grip two-hander pre-raid best in slot gearing guide. Now, I am by no means an expert warrior player. In fact, now don't hurt me, I actually play Ret Pally. But I can promise you I've done a lot of research for this and many other classes and their BiS list, and I'm confident that this is accurate. I also want to say I have and will continue to try and post quality, accurate information, and I take pride in doing so with any type of content or game that I'm covering. So I have your absolute best options here, and I have alternatives for those who may not have enough time and those who are less hardcore or in a more casual guild/environment. To make things easy, we're going to be covering the absolute best options part first, and then I'll throw up some alternatives for each piece afterwards. So starting off with your helmet. Your best option here is the Spiked Titan Steel helmet, crafted by your blacksmiths. This helmet is massive, with 97 flat strength, a big chunk of hit and crit. It takes 4 Serenite bars, 4 Titan Steel bars, and 1 Frozen Orb to craft. You'll be able to get Frozen Orbs inside Lich King Heroic Dungeons, or you can purchase them for 10 Emblems of Heroism. The big pain with this helmet are definitely the Titan Steel bars, as in the beginning of Lich King, these are going to be pretty expensive early on. Now, this is mainly because of what it takes to make them, which is 3 titanium bars, 1 eternal shadow, fire, and earth. Now, titanium bars can be smelted from titanium ore, 2 to be precise, which titanium ore is the equivalent to corium ore. It is the corium ore of Lich King. You can also transmute or have them transmuted by an alchemist for 1 titanium bar per 8 Serenite bars. 2 if you're a transmute master, I believe. If you don't have the gold or patience to obtain this item, or maybe you're an engineer and you're looking to craft your goggles, here's another alternative. The Kite and Shell Great Helm drops off of a Nub, a Rock, and Asdrul Naru. This is your heroic dungeon option with a meta socket available. Now here are the charged titanium specs. These are your plate engineering goggles. Strength plus stam, meta socket, and a huge chunk of crit. The cost is a lot, but honestly I don't think it'll be as much as the Titan Steel helmet. 8 titanium bars, 4 heavy Borean leather, 2 Monarch topazes, 4 eternal fires, and 1 frozen orb. Next up are our shoulders of choice, and yes, they're leather. Yes, we are still going to be mix and matching in Lich King. These spoilers of the Careless Thief drop off the Grand Magus, Telestra, and Heroic Nexus. Agility, stamina, a red socket which is huge, hit, and attack power. Our first alternative would be the Snake Den Spalders, which sport a yellow socket, strength, stam, plus haste. These are from Sladron and Heroic Gundrak. And then our second alternative would be the Spalders of the Giant Lords, which these are from being revered with the Sons of Hodir. These are your strength, stam, plus crit shoulders. Our cloak of choice is actually a BOE that drops off of Heroic Trash inside Gundrak. The Cloak of Bloody Waters is the strength, stamina, crit rating cloak. A very close, if not better option in my opinion, is the Ice Striker cloak crafted by the Leatherworkers. Agility, stamina, attack power, plus haste. This cloak costs 2 Arctic Fur, 6 Eternal Fires, 4 Eternal Shadows, and 1 Frozen Orb. Chest pieces, we have 2 Reputation and 2 Heroic options depending on what you're lacking and how much time you have to sink. So our first option, well, it's a male chest piece with int on it. The Paulus Regimental Hauberk comes from being exalted with the Argent Crusade. Has 1 yellow socket, a good high hit stat, and a high attack power stat as well. Our second option is a leather chest piece, but is quite the chest piece if I say so myself. The Darkheart chest guards comes from being exalted with the Knights of the Ebon Blade. This chest has no sockets, but a very high agility, a super high attack power, and it has armor pen. Now if you don't have the time to sink in the reputation grinding, especially to exalted, our first heroic alternative is the Bone Grinder breastplate, which drops off of Prince Tal'Daram in heroic Ahn'kahet, aka the Old Kingdom. This chest gives us a big strength chunk, a blue and red socket, and a massive amount of crit. Our second alternative option is more of a stam heavy chest piece, the engraved chest piece of Ek, which drops from Ek the Ferocious in heroic Gundrak. This gives us a ton of stamina, blue and yellow socket, and a big chunk of hit rating. It's also worth noting here that the socket bonus is actually +6 strength. Now onto our bracers. This is another leather piece, and I know what you're all thinking, but trust me, look at these bracers. The Dragon Friend bracers are insane. Agility stam of course because they're leather, but 38 crit and a whomping 100 attack power on bracers. Come on, these are pretty insane. Now our first alternative would be the Bands of the Stoneforge. These are plate, so strength and stam, 50 haste, and these drop off of Yonir, Iron Shaper, and heroic Halls of Stone. I have no idea if I pronounced that correctly or not. Our second alternative is from Krikthir, the Gatewatcher, in heroic Asdrul Narub. The Golden Limb Bands, which house strength, stam, and crit. That brings us to our gloves, and here we have 3 amazing options, and one of them is another int, so please don't hurt me. I understand what it looks like, but let's just go ahead and look at those pair of gloves first. The hand grips of Savage Emissary. These drop off Sign Nagosa and heroic Violet Hold. Agility stam in, but take note of the crit and the massive attack power that's on these gloves. Our second alternative, which is leather, these are the gilt-edged leather gauntlets that drop off of King Ymirian in heroic Utgard Pinnacle. These of course, because they are leather, are agility and stam, but they also have a huge amount of hit and a huge amount of attack power. Now moving on to our plate alternative, these are great gloves, and a choice between the 3 comes from pure stat weights and crunching to find the best for your setup. The Gauntlets of Dragon Wrath drop from the Cache of Aragos in heroic Oculus, a tri-stat beast but sadly only has a medium hit rating stat. So moving on to our belt choices, the Flame Bathed Steel Girdle is our go-to here. Strength stam blue socket with a +4 strength socket bonus and a big crit value. This belt drops off of Karastraza in heroic Nexus. Our alternative is the Strategist Belt. Strength stam, red socket, and a good haste value. This actually drops off of Prince Keliseth in heroic Utgard Keep. Moving on to legs. The legs we want here are the staggering leg plates from Ingvar the Plunderer in heroic Utgard Keep. Massive strength and stam, red and yellow socket, and a huge amount of hit. Our first alternative are the leg plates of steel implants from Meathook in heroic Culling of Stratholme. These pants also give us a high strength stam value with red yellow sockets and a great haste stat. Now for our reputation alternative, the leg plates of Bloody Reprisal. These legs are from being exalted with Wormers the Cord. They have no sockets but a high strength and stam value with a very high armor pen. So for boots we have 3 options. Our best option are the Death Nerd Sabatons from being exalted with Ebon Blade. These give us strength, stam, blue plus red socket, and a large amount of crit. Our first heroic alternative are the Rift Strider boots. Strength, stam, 1 red socket, and a nice amount of crit as well. These boots drop off Anomalous and heroic Nexus. Our second alternative is yet another intelligence piece. I know all you warriors are loving this, but the Dragon Slayer Sabatons also drop from heroic Nexus, but from Karastraza. These boots have 2 red sockets, haste, and attack power. Don't overlook these boots because of the int. For neck pieces, we're looking at the Pennant of the Outcast Hero, which is purchased for 25 emblems of heroism. This is an agility, stam, crit, and AP neck piece. Our heroic alternative is this gold Amulet of Kings. This is a strength, stam, and crit rating. This drops off King Ymirin and Utgard Pinnacle, and heroic Utgard Pinnacle. So let's talk about our rings now. It's probably the most controversial in the guide. So let's start off with a titanium impact band. It's a jewel crafted ring with agility, stamina, a yellow socket, attack power, plus armor pen. This is crafted with 2 titanium bars, 4 dragon's eyes, 4 eternal fires, shadows, and 1 frozen orb. Dragon eyes are something jewel crafters can obtain by prospecting and getting titanium powder to turn into tokens, and then can be used to purchase dragon eyes, or you can get thus tokens by completing jewel crafting dailies. The second ring we're going to talk about here is the expensive Ring of Kirin Tor. Now this ring is incredible, there's no denying that. What is hard to wrap around most people's heads is the price tag of 8,000 gold. This ring has strength, stamina, crit, expertise, and it has a direct teleport to Dalaran. I know not everyone will have the gold to purchase this ring, but I did want to add it in here for those who do and who want to farm the gold maybe to purchase the ring. Our next ring is another amazing ring, the Hemorrhaging Circle. This is looted off Galdara and heroic Gundrak. It has agility, stam, expertise, attack power. This ring is definitely worth farming for. Our other heroic alternative is the Band of Frosted Thorns. Strength, stamina, crit, and this ring drops off of Ormarok, the Tree Shaper, in Heroic Nexus. And now it's trinket time. Now here comes the real fun part. There are so many different trinkets to choose from. The 2 best options here are the Incisor Fragment that drops off King Ymirin and Heroic Draktherin. This gives a huge flat attack power and an on-use armor pen effect for 20 seconds. The second option is the Mirror of Truth, which can be purchased for 40 emblems of heroism. Now this trinket really is crazy. It gives you a huge boost to crit, but the real big thing about this is the chance on hit to increase your attack power by 1,000 for 10 seconds. From what I've seen, this is a 20-second internal cooldown, so it'll proc quite a few times in a simple 3-minute fight, for example. Now let's quickly talk about the Dark Moon cards. So obviously in the beginning, the Dark Moon decks are going to be pretty darn pricey. Both Death and Greatness are amazing trinkets. Death has a chance to proc an additional 1,750 to 2,250 shadow damage with a flat crit value. Greatness, on the other hand, has a chance to grant 300 strength for 15 seconds with a flat strength value. Both of which are great trinkets, but Fury Warrior will benefit more in my opinion. And to all those stat crunchers, feel free to argue this in the comments down below, from Death, with the proc chance plus crit rating. Now we move on to the weapons. This is the part everyone is most anxious to see, I'm sure of it, especially since we're looking at 2 different two-handers. So obviously, as many of you already know, Titan Steel Destroyer. This mace is your absolute go-to, and if you don't have the gold for the weapon, I highly suggest you farm it. You won't be disappointed. This weapon is pretty much on par, if not better, than every weapon inside Nax, which will be the first raid we are entering in Lich King. This weapon will run you 8 Serenite bars, 8 Titan Steel bars, and 2 Frozen Orbs. Again, if you don't have the gold, I highly suggest to go and farm it. If you are a blacksmith, miner, I highly suggest you just take what you need to farm the mats. You won't be sorry. Your other best in slot weapon is easily going to be the Colossal Skull-clad Cleaver. This drops off of Loken and Heroic Halls of Lightning. This is a 2-hand axe. Yes, it has haste rating, but again, you're not going to be sorry. This is your absolute best in slot. I think offhand, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Titan Steel is going to be your main hand. Now, these are your weapons, and unlike other options in this video, I'm going to be only going to list the alternatives real quick on screen for you to see, because at the end of the day, again, these are the ones you absolutely want for pre-raid. But your alternative list will be the Sword of Justice in the Bronzebeard event in Heroic Halls of Stone, the Rune Blade that you'll be able to purchase from Ebon Blade once you hit it revered, the Mojo Mask Crusher Mace from Heroic Draktherin from Prophet, the Argent Skeleton Crusher once you get revered with Argent Crusade. Now, onto our range weapon of choice. That will be the Drake Mounted Crossbow in Heroic Utgard Keep from Ingvar the Plunderer. More crit, plus 2 two-handers, you know what I'm saying. So real quick, let's go over our best in slot enchants. First up, we have our Arcanum of Torment Head Enchant, which is purchased from the Ebon Blade Rep Vendor. You must be revered to purchase this. Second, we have the Greater Inscription of the Axe Shoulder Enchant, which is purchased from the Sons of Hodia Rep Vendor. You must get Exalted to get this big enchant and revered to get the minors. For our Cloak, you want Major Agility, 8 Infinite Dust, 2 Greater Cosmic Essences, and 2 Dream Shards. On our chest, you want powerful stats, 4 Dream Shards and 4 Abyss Crystals. Your bracers, you're going to want Greater Assault, 24 Infinite Dust and 6 Greater Cosmic Essences. For the boots, you want Ice Walker, one of the best enchants in WoW, I feel. Crit and hit, 8 Infinite Dust and 1 Crystallized Water. This enchant is also super cheap. Make sure to always have an Eternal Belt Buckle on your belts for those extra sockets. And if you happen to be an enchanter, do yourself a favor and do not forget about the crazy self-enchant for your rings, which only cost 8 Infinite Dust and 1 Greater Cosmic Essence. So that's it for our pre-raid BiS guide for Fury Warriors going into Wrath Classic. If I've missed anything or you think the list could be better, feel free to comment down below. To all those elitists out there who disagree with the entire video, just remember, I'm just a rep pally. A rep pally who will probably be laughing at you all expansion. But regardless, leave a like. The next BiS I'm working on is for Fire Mages. Comment down below what BiS list you would like to see after Fire Mages. So until next time, amigos.